Welcome to the Lunchtime Broadcast, where we highlight the news making waves, ranging from current affairs, community stories, sports, and economic news. Here are the headlines. Nampower signs contract for construction for 2.5 billion biomass power plant with Chinese firm Dong Feng Electrical International Corporation. CBPN awarded tenders worth of $8.1 billion. Local companies got the biggest chunk in the 2023-2024 financial year, and singer Sean Kingston has been arrested in California hours after a police raid. I am Glenn-nora Tjipura, and this is NMH at 1. In our midday news update, Namib this morning had to do an emergency brake stop to one of its locomotives that drove itself in reverse from Oshvelo up to Ondangwa. According to officials at the scene, the locomotive was last night en route to Tsumeb from Ondangwa. What transpired this morning is that while at Oshvelo, the driver and the assistant went to inspect a problem, and while they were both outside, the locomotive started to move in reverse. After the locomotive traveled for more than 150 kilometers in reverse, Namib officials manipulated the rails at Omashaka in Ondangwa, which resulted to 10 of the 25 trailers of the locomotive to leave the rails and subsequently brought it to a standstill. Visual News highlights local stories from across Namibia. Right after the break, we get into that.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
Getting into our visual news, the Namibia Power Corporation, Nampower, this morning signed a contract with Chinese firm Dong Feng Electrical International Corporation for the construction of a $2.5 billion biomass plant, as well as several fuel supply contracts with several local and international contractors. The plant will help Nampower meet its power supply needs and provides a baseload power solution for the bulk electricity supplier. Its MD Kahenge Haulufu said. Let's take a look.
This project will be one of the answers to the long-awaited realization for a baseload power station in Namibia. The power station will enable Nampower to cost-effectively provide baseload electricity and will contribute to the expansion of power generation for the country. As we all know, energy from renewable energy sources such as wind and solar are not available around the clock compared to a baseload power supply. Thus, this will reduce Namibia's reliance on imported electricity. The Oshikoto Biomass Power Station project will be a game changer and a transformative leap in Nampower's plans for the expansion of generation capacity aimed at ensuring energy security for Namibia.
That concludes our visual news segment. We will be right back with more NMH at 1.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraika. In replay, Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news, both on the WTA for women's and
Thank you for staying with NMH at 1. Here's an interesting interview with Armando van Wyk, who chats to Ashwin Berry about an upcoming fashion show.
Today we're talking everything fashion, street fashion, Namibian street fashion with the one and only Armando van Wyk, who is the creative director of King A Apparel. How's it going, Armando?
I'm doing very well, thank you, man.
You look good. You look good. You look good.
Thank you so much.
You know, people who are into fashion, they tend to have to look forward, to move ahead of everybody.
Yes,
so this looks like a Moses robe situation
Let's
leading
go.
us into the future. All right, so take us all the way back. When did you first get interested in fashion, and what's been fueling that till this day?
All right. I think I should probably take it back to primary school. All of us, we're not fortunate enough to, be the Woolies babies, the expensive clothes. So we'd always go to the Mr. Price. And when you come to school or you see a random person walking the street, they will be rocking the same shirt as you.
Yeah.
So I would always try to, put on a tie, mix it up with a normal t-shirt just with a tie on it, or try to work a zip on something just to stand out.
I like
so
that.
it's just the mere fact of wanting to stand out, to look different compared to the next person.
Yeah, I wanted to express yourself through the fashion. That's really cool.
That's definitely it. Just wanting to look unique and stand out, be bold. Much less now that I'm in the creative space. So.
Yeah, and of course, if you're taking it back to primary school, the best day for guys like you would have been CV's day.
Exactly.
The night before you lay out all the clothes on the bed and then you rock them the next day. That's cool.
I think that fueled it CV days.
All right, so tell us, how did King A Apparel come about?
Funny enough, King A Apparel started with the bonnets.
Bonnets,
Crazy. Started with these bonnets
Yeah.
of the ladies,
Yeah.
and then we moved over to print and sell.
All right.
So I had t-shirts, printed t-shirts,
Okay.
saw the market growing. So I'm like, okay, cool. Now why don't I just put in my own thing?
Yeah, bring my
and
original
I would
ideas.
always be struggling with, pants. I was always an athletic guy.
Yeah.
So the legs were always bigger compared to, when you put on a normal pants, it would be cool around the waist, but it doesn't go through the thighs. So I'm like, let me create my own
Let me
thing.
make my own thing happen.
People started supporting it, started seeing me rocking my own stuff.
Yeah.
And people started supporting
That's
it.
really cool. Take us through your creative process. How do you get it going? Your creative process. Do you sometimes, maybe you are checking out the Met Gala, you get inspiration, or maybe you see someone walking down the street, or sometimes it's something obscure. Maybe you heard a song. Like, how does your creative process go about?
Right, creative process would be based on my life journeys. Definitely what I face on a daily basis. That somehow expresses or can be seen through the clothing that I make, right? But what I would always say is, I had an interview earlier this week too, where I say that the creative process always starts with a prayer, just for guidance. And as a creative, you have so much happening in your head. It's constantly busy. So just to silence the noise, just a prayer for guidance. And my creative process starts with scouting of fabric.
Yes.
Funny enough, not the typical sketch and let's do this. Mine starts with fabric.
Okay.
Textures, just going to a fabric store. I have the color, of course, in mind.
Yeah.
So just feeling the fabrics. That's where the fabric starts talking to
Yeah.
me.
No, you
process
guys remind
starts.
me. My older brother works a lot with wood and furniture, and he also starts off as well with the wood, and then that's
just
what
the feel,
inspires
and that
him to
literally
create
goes
something.
on the idea.
That's really interesting.
So that's where it starts.
Yeah. So why did you decide to go with streetwear? I mean, of course, through this conversation, if we're talking about from primary school, the inspiration, but do let us know, why did you decide to go with streetwear predominantly?
Right, I would say street style because King Apparel for itself stands for edgy street style luxury. So edgy, I always try to, you can see the things are hanging. We got buckles, we have safety pins. I feel it's very, very raw and you can be yourself.
Yeah.
Compared to a Met Gala or let me say, even just a matric farewell, you look glitz and glamour.
You look and everything
You're
looks
just dressed up to,
knit-tucked,
just dressing up to look good.
Yeah.
But then with street style, you are being your authentic self.
Yes.
You can be raw, you can be edgy.
Yeah. Did you adopt any inspiration for street style from the environment you grew up in? Or the folks you hung out with? I know, sometimes it's, you know, one or two friends who always had, you know, their thing on lock, and then it always felt like the way they expressed themselves in different places always kind of stood out. I know personally I was, you know, I was a private school kid who could barely afford to be there, but I was a private school kid, but most of my friends, you know, were back home, and I always loved getting into those private school spaces with my friends from back home because they always stood out because of how loyal they were to where they came from, you know, what inspired their personal identities.
You see, this literally sparks a light bulb here.
Yeah.
My parents were very strict, right? We were just home babies. You get your PlayStation, you sit in front of the TV, that's it.
Yeah.
So I would always be eager. I would be standing by the, you know, the fan. I'm like, man, but these people are chilling. These people are living life. Can I not also just go play soccer? Can I just not be myself in the streets? So I think it's just the fact of being eager about what was happening on the outside. So I started creating this little world. This is what street style is. And I think it comes from that. Come to think of it.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And it's not people that I grew up with. It's stuff that I saw on the outside. And I wanted to be a part of it. So I'm like, okay, let me create my own street.
Your own interpretation. That's really cool. That's really cool. So King A Apparel was among the beautiful collections that were displayed at the most recent Windhoek Fashion Week, which we know as every single year it gets better. Was this the first time that the brand was on the runway? And what was it like preparing for a show of this magnitude?
All right. So this wasn't the first time on the ramp. We had the Karutura Fashion Week
All right,
that I took part in 2022.
Yes.
And then I decided, okay, cool, let me not say level up and come for people. But yeah, I decided let's do the MTC Fashion Week, which we did last year.
Let's seek a different challenge, so to
yes,
speak,
definitely on a bigger platform and just with more creatives on board. The creative process was quite stressful. It was a lot of work. Time management had to play a very, very vital role as either 8 to 5.
Okay, I see.
So as soon as you knock off, you transition into your creative space. Now you need to sit down. Now you need to work for yourself. Because the 8 to 5 is dedicated to someone else.
You know what it is.
Then you move over to your creative. So it was really, really stressful, but the fruits paid off.
Yeah, for sure.
We're reaping the fruits right now.
Yeah, definitely.
So stressful, but time management got us through it all.
All right. Speaking of the fruits, where's the fruit basket? Where can we find the King A Apparel?
All right. So right now we're just rocking on the socials for now. So that's on Instagram. That's the biggest platform that I'm using right now. Everybody's on Instagram.
Yeah, for sure.
So you can catch it on King_A_apparel.
King_A_apparel. So don't miss that. Okay. And what is your ultimate goal for this brand?
Okay. So I would like to transition into a household brand. Not the typical, I want to make it through to Paris Fashion Weeks and the whatnots. I want a full house brand where we have our selected models that are always ready to be booked, our selected designers that can be working under the brand, just collaboration. So a whole household brand where we have all creatives. I have my personal photography. You want to use them?
Use them, all right. Okay, you want something that's self-sustaining. Yeah, I hear you. And what would you say has been your proudest moment in this journey with King A Apparel?
I would say MTC Fashion Week.
Yeah, that was...
Because I had my best friend close my show.
We've
been talking about it since high school. Where she said, nah, I want to be a model. I was like, okay, cool, I'll dress you one day. And she ended up closing my show. And we know closing a show is such a big deal.
Yeah, it's a huge deal. It's a huge deal.
So
that's
that is the proudest moment.
All right, that's really cool. And so to someone who doesn't really know, who's not really in the circles, how would you describe Namibia's fashion industry?
Definitely fast growing. We have a lot of potential. We just don't have the enough platform or the funding. I would really love for an organization just to guard funds, designers, just the whole creative space, just like they pour out into the, not really the music, but the movies that they're trying to do now. Just a good funding. But it's a very fast growing industry, quite small, but very eager to grow.
Very eager to grow. Yes. And you know, those are the tools you need to take it as far as you need to go.
So we're definitely on the right path, I should say that.
Armando, thank you very much for joining me. I hope you have I'm going to check out your Instagram. If there's anything with an A there, I'm going to try to find out if there's a letter A
Yes, and I can leave this.
I'll just share for sure.
The details, the
details 100%. So that was Armando van Wyk, who is the creative director of King A Apparel, which is taking over the streets, is taking taking over Instagram. It is everything you need when it comes to streetwear, and most importantly, it's proudly Namibian.
Welcome to What's Cooking, where culinary passion meets expert insights.
Somebody must really want to cook and want to cook good food.
Immerse yourself in the bustling world of professional kitchens as top chefs create mouthwatering dishes. Join us for in-depth interviews as our host explores the experiences and expertise of our guest chefs. Don't miss out. Tune in to What's Cooking on NTV every Friday at 2100 hours and let the culinary adventure begin.
In today's economic news, CBPN awarded tenders worth 8.1 billion Namibian dollars. The Central Procurement Board of Namibia has awarded tenders worth 8.1 billion Namibian dollars during the 2023-2024 financial year, signaling a 4.8 billion Namibian dollars increase from the previous financial year. Of the total 8.1 billion Namibian dollars government tenders awarded, 7.1 billion Namibian dollars worth of work was awarded to Namibian companies, CBPN acting CEO Amon Gavetene said. With regards to tenders awarded over the last financial year, 7.2 billion Namibian dollars worth of work was awarded through an open advertising bidding process compared to 2.2 billion Namibian dollars that was awarded the previous financial year. The CBPN has been receiving mixed public reactions of late. While there are those who feel the board helps better administer the country's public procurement system, others are of the opinion that it merely creates more bureaucratic red tapes. Let's take a look at our indicators. The Namibian dollar trades against the British pound at 23.34, against the euro at 19.92, against the US dollar at 18.39. 2 Namibian dollars and 54 cents gets you 1 Chinese yuan. On the Namibia Stock Exchange, Namibia Breweries Limited went up at 0.03%, while First Rand Namibia Limited went down at 0.50%. Leshaha Holdings Namibia Limited went up at 2.50%. On the commodities market, gold, copper, and platinum went up, while Brent crude oil went down, trading at 0.92%, going for $80.92 per barrel. Overall index went down at 0.05%, while the local index went up at 0.12%. On the other side of the break, we'll be taking a look at our news from Africa.
E-Ticket, your online ticket solution for events and event marketing, bringing you ease of mind and making sure that your event gets out there. For more information, contact events@nmh.com.na.
Getting into our news from Africa, U.S. President Joe Biden hailed William Ruto's leadership on Thursday, congratulating him on his intervention in politically unstable Haiti. President Ruto's presence at the White House marks the first state visit to the United States by an African leader for more than 15 years. We are going to provide logistics, intelligence, and equipment. In fact, some of the equipment has already arrived. Kenya is strengthening its police force, and other countries are planning to do the same. The United States is going to support the collective effort in this area. Of course, Kenya is not going to do it alone. We are working with Congress to provide $300 million for the Multinational Security Support (MSS) mission, and an additional $60 million for equipment support. We've also received and continue to receive significant contributions from other partners. President Ruto and I agree that the Haitian people deserve better, that they deserve peace and security, said U.S. President Joe Biden. Let's go for a break before we come back with more news.
Welcome to What's Cooking, where culinary passion meets expert insights.
Somebody must really want to cook and want to cook good food.
Immerse yourself in the bustling world of professional kitchens as top chefs create mouthwatering dishes. Join us for in-depth interviews as our host explores the experiences and expertise of our guest chefs. Don't miss out. Tune in to What's Cooking on NTV every Friday at 2100 hours and let the culinary adventure begin.
Getting into our international news, singer Sean Kingston has been arrested in California hours after a police raid of his Florida mansion, during which his mother was also arrested. Mr. Kingston was accused in February by a company of not fully paying for a huge TV and sound system. Now, U.S. media report that he was taken into custody in Fort Irwin, Southern California, on fraud and theft charges on a Florida warrant, according to police in the latter state. In an earlier social media post, Mr. Kingston said his lawyers were handling everything. The earlier Florida police raid targeted a residence near Fort Lauderdale, at which the singer, whose legal name is Kezian Anderson, was named as living in court documents from February. U.S. media, including the BBC's partner CBS News, reported that the woman arrested was Mr. Kingston's mother. On the other side of the break, we'll be taking a look at our local sports news. Getting into our local sports news, Namibian secondary schools rugby NSSR's Standard Bank Under-19 Premier League continues with only one scheduled match on the second weekend. Now the highly anticipated clash between King Price Kuro Windhoek Gymnasium and Kampak Tumep Gymnasium at the Lions Den kicks off tomorrow at 12 p.m. and will be broadcast live by the NTV production team. The joint defending champions, the Lions, are aiming to secure their second consecutive victory following their impressive 34-7 win over PSG Walvis Bay Private School. Let's take a look at what's happening on the entertainment front with Chill.
Good day, NMH at 1 viewers. My name is Michael Kayunde, and this is the Weekend Gig Guide, a segment I get to let you guys know of some of the events that are happening in and around the country. To start with, you can catch that is Chill Sessions tonight at 1900 hours. That is on NTV. That's the show where we get to count down the trending music videos for the week. If you want to know what music video is causing mayhem in Namibia for this week, make sure you tune in on Chill Sessions. Moving along with other events you can expect to check out this weekend. If you are a fan of that is Dali Wonga from South Africa, he will be performing tonight at the Loft. Tickets are available through web tickets for 100 Namibian dollars. Moving along with other events you can still expect to check out this weekend. If you love poetry, you can expect to check out that is the Poetry Night event taking place tonight at Vinyls with a musical insert by Weya. And on the lineup, you can expect to check out poetry by the likes of Abdul, Jemima Ndebele, and Julio, and more. Tickets are $100 at the gates. Moving along with other events you can still expect to check out this weekend. The last one is the event taking place at Anna's Kluvenberg tomorrow, the Drag Night Unplugged. If you like unplugged music, you can make your way to that is Anna's Kluvenberg tomorrow. That's where the event is going to be taking place.
And with that, we've come to the end of the broadcast. From me, Glenn-nora Tjipura, have a lovely weekend.